Thank you.
Thank you. May all please be seated. Alright, now we invite Associate Professor Dr. Wida Othman for the pay recital. Professor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan hamidin, hamdan sabirin, hamdan waqimin, ni'mahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wasallam. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, segala puji hanya bagi-Mu ya Allah. Tuhan semesta alam, kepadamu kami berserah dan kepadamu jualah kami memohon perlindungan. Selawat dan salam ke atas junjungan besar Nabi Muhammad SAW, kepada ahli keluarga baginda, para sahabat dan kami. Ya Allah, kami mohon kepadamu akan keimanan yang sempurna ya Allah, keyakinan yang benar ya Allah, ilmu yang berguna, hati yang khusyuk, lidah yang sentiasa berzikir kepadamu ya Allah. Limpah dan kurniakanlah kepada kami rezeki yang halal dan diberkati. Engkau lapangkanlah hati kami, Kau satukanlah hati-hati kami. Kau berkatilah perhimpunan kami ini pada hari ini ya Allah. Semoga ini diterima sebagai satu perhimpunan yang hanya mengharapkan keredaan-Mu dari-Mu ya Allah. Kau pandanglah kepada usaha kami yang kerdil ini melalui AQoL 2023 Bali sebagai wadah dan satu usaha, sebagai satu usaha yang mulia di sisi-Mu. Kau kurniakanlah perjumpaan ini dengan bimbingan yang berterusan ya Allah. Bantulah kami, bimbinglah kami untuk menerok ke alam ciptaan-Mu yang amat luas demi ke arah kebaikan, kelestarian dan kemakmuran manusia sejagat. Kau permudahkanlah untuk kami terus menjalankan aktiviti-aktiviti penyelidikan di muka bumi-Mu yang amat luas dan menyebarkan hasil dapatan di dalam konferensi yang sedang berlangsung ini dan yang dirancang di masa-masa akan hadapan. Kau berkatilah segala usaha kami dan bantulah kami untuk tidak sedikit pun mengabaikan tanggungjawab sebagai khalifah di muka bumi ini. Kau padamkan dari hati kami sifat-sifat keji yang tidak Engkau restui ya Allah. Sebaliknya, tanamkanlah di lubuk hati kami dengan sifat-sifat kasih sayang, bantu-membantu dan bertoleransi. Sesungguhnya hanya kepada Engkau lah kami berserah dan hanya kepada Engkau juga lah kami memohon perlindungan. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dzurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Allahumma ighfir lana dzunubana wa liwalidayya warham kama ya rabbana saghira. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillah.
Thank you, Professor Ridwan. Now, I would like to call upon the names for the Army Board members, starting with the respected Army President, Assistant Professor Dr. Wahana Sham. Next is the Army Conference Chair, Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Muhammad Yusuf Abbas, the boss. Next, the AQoL 2023 Yang Berbahagia, the co-host, Professor Dr. I.R. A. Sulistyowati, the Director, of the Polytechnic International Bali in Indonesia.
And the next, AQoL 2023 co-host coordinator and our keynote speaker, Dr. Dedi Kurniawan Halim, Chair of Polytechnic International Bali Senat. Then, honor board members, International Scientific Committee members, editorial team, professors, doctors, conference participants, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning and a warm selamat datang to our 7th Asia Pacific International Conference on Quality of Life, the 43rd International Conference to be organized by AMI. Praises to the Almighty in ensuring the smooth organization of AQoL 2023 Bali. I am Deep Y.
And I am Maria.
Together we shall MC to this conference and tonight's BBQ dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, nice to see familiar faces again from our more recent conferences this year in Marrakesh, Morocco, Bangkok, Thailand, and the most recent in Kuala Terengganu, Malaysia.
Allow us to briefly go through the program for today's event. By the way, kindly note the program booklet was published earlier. Please refer to the online booklet for the updated version. So today's event shall commence with welcoming speeches by the co-host and conference chair. The opening speech shall then follows. The Bali welcoming dance shall be performed by students from PIB. And a brief group photo session shall precede the keynote speech at 15 to 9.
We shall then have our coffee break before the commencement of Breakout 1 session at 10:15 a.m. Lunch will be at 12:15 p.m. before the commencement of Breakout 2 at 1:15 p.m. Tea shall be at 3:15 p.m. before the commencement of the last Breakout at 3:45 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, the barbecue dinner can only commence at 6 p.m. sharp, provided all presenters do not exceed their presentation time of maximum 10 minutes each. You shall be reminded again by the breakout chairs.
Without further ado, we would like to invite our co-host, who is also the director of Polytechnic International Bali, for her welcoming speech. Professor Silvio Writing, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Did MC. My first question would be, how are you? Very good. So I'm waiting. Well, some say if I ask you and you don't ask me back, it means I care about you and you don't care about me. All right, we're just icebreaker. Normally we did icebreaker before the conference started. My name is Erica Sadana. I'm Director of Partnership and Events in PIB College, representing the Honorable Director of PIB College, Ibu Professor Anastasia Sulistiawati. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great honor to be part of this essential event, also representing our Director here at PIB College as the co-host of this very essential conference. So I would like to convey and address our gratitude as well as warm regards towards the Associate Professor Dr. Rohana Sham as AMER President. Good morning. Professor Dr. Mohammed Yusuf Abbas, the Chair of AMER Conference. Good morning. And I would like to also address a warm welcome to the honorable keynote speakers today. Professor Dr. Robert Marantz from University of Michigan, United States of America. Then Professor Dr. Insinyur Deka Halim from PIB College or Polytechnic International Bali. All participants of this conference joining on-site as well as attending online. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. I would like to read Professor's welcome remarks for today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to address you today as Director of PRB College in this momentum occasion on the 7th Asia Pacific International Conference on Quality of Life, Hybrid in 2023. PRB College is very, very proud to serve as the co-host of this esteemed event. This event is very well organized by AMER, Association of Malaysian Environment Behavior Researchers, and in collaboration with the Center for Environment Behavior Studies, College of Built Environment UiTM Malaysia. As the co-host of PRB College is committed to facilitate an environment that fosters collaboration, innovation, and knowledge exchange among all participants. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, attending online and on-site, this conference provides a unique platform for schools, scholars, experts, and stakeholders from across the Asia-Pacific regions and beyond to come together and engage in meaningful discussions on a vital topic of quality of life. Our shared pursuit of understanding and improving the quality of life for individuals and communities is paramount, especially in the face of many challenges and opportunities that our world presents today. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that through our collective efforts, we can explore new ideas, share best practices, and develop actionable solutions that will contribute to the betterment of lives in our regions as well as global environment. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all participants, organizers, and partners who have contributed a lot to making this event very much possible. Your dedication and commitment to the field of quality of life research are commendable, and we are very much looking forward to the valuable insights and outcomes that will emerge from our deliberations over the course of this conference. I would like to also extend a warm and heartfelt invitation to all of you attending here on site to visit PRB College, nestled near the enchanting Tanah Lot Temple. So thank you so much. So I'd like to repeat, I want to extend a warm and heartfelt invitation to all of you to visit PRB College, nestled near the enchanting Tanah Lot Temple. I'm very sure you've heard of it, in Tabanan, Bali. And I look forward to the possibility of welcoming you to PRB College, our humble resort campus. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Sejahtera, Rahayu, Rahayu, Rahayu. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the welcome remarks from Professor Anastasia Sulistiawati, MM, MS, MS, DTH, PhD, DAG. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Professor. And now we call upon AQoL 2022 Chair for his welcome speech. Professor Dr. Mohammed Yusuf Abbas, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi selamat pagi. Respected Honored President, Associate Professor Dr. Mansha, yang berbahagia Profesor Insinyur Sulistiawati, being represented by Ms. Made, Director of for this event. Dr. Dedi Kurniawan Khalid, our Honorable keynote speaker for today. By the way, Professor Marwan had actually given his keynote speech last Saturday, during the virtual presentation. Board members, international scientific committee members, editorial team, professors, doctors, conference participants, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you very much for your time, yeah, online and on-site. Thank you for your time again for attending this conference. It was way back 5 years ago that I stand here addressing the same different participants. So actually 5 years ago, great. Yeah. So Alhamdulillah, we are back again here, yeah, at the same venue, yeah, and to see many different faces, yeah, and of course familiar faces who have been following us since we started in 2009 actually, so more than 10 years ago, and we have grown together, and as well as our international scientific community members representing from 17 countries. In fact, Professor Marans, who gave the keynote speech on Saturday, we also grew together with him, or he grew together with us since our Pharma Booster conference way back in 2011. So that's how long our acquaintanceship and relationship with them. And also to most of the board members who have been with us, initially they were just doctors. Then now more than half of them are full professors. Yeah, so we are very proud. We are very very proud that we grew together and we learned from each together. That's the most important thing. We hope this relationship can be pursued further for another 10 more years to come. Yeah. By the way, this is our 47th conference. Sometimes I lost count from the conference that we organize. We do organize 4 conferences in a year, 1 year. So this is the 47th, I think, yeah, 47th conference. Yeah. Again, familiar faces. I see some from. For this year, we had this. We started off with Marrakesh, Morocco. Then we went to Bangkok. That's where we met Maria from Bangkok. Thailand. Thank you very much for co-emceeing this event as well. Yeah. And then we had this Kuala Terengganu. The most recent is Kuala Terengganu. So that's 3, and Bali is the curtain closure for 2023. Okay. So and this due to that we have to move fast because organizing one conference a year is hectic, but to organize 4 in a year is, yeah, I think you can use your calculator to multiply that. So sometimes we seem to be, what do you call this? Not that friendly with the participants because we have to move fast because we've got a list of conference policies because over the years we developed many things just to ensure that the organizing of the conference is smoother. So we started with just four conference policies. Then it grew and it grew, and now we've got about 14 conference policies. The thing is to manage to make it a smooth conference because we have to move fast. We cannot keep on in communicating with the participants who have problems. We have laid down all the things that need to be done. Yeah, it's all displayed on the conference page. Yeah, everything is there. Yeah. Now we sometimes seems to be harsh, and we do activate the administrative fees for those non-compliant because we have to, as you're aware, we have to move fast, and the main thing is actually to reach our target after each conference of publishing in the Environment Behavior Proceedings Journal, which is a WOS index. Yeah. So when we move fast, we mean immediately after the conference. Yeah. Within 2 weeks maximum, it is published. So that's our target. Okay. So that's why we have to move fast, and please help us to help you so that we can publish on time. Okay. So we hope all will give your fullest cooperation, and at the same time I always like to share what we have to the participants. Now our conferences is for me is the most unique in the world because we have 2 parts. First part is the conference, And second part is actually the post-conference. It's actually the nurturing and, encouraging sort of strategy that we have. Okay? The post-conference session to help out budding researchers or writers and helping them out to ensure they can give better or produce better works. Yeah, and at the same time we have actually included in the post-conference sessions. Normally the post-conference session is actually the highlight will be the best paper award winners. Yeah, but before that we have now installed or have tutorial sessions whereby you open up for Q&A. Yeah, I don't think so you will find this sort of thing in any other conferences in the world. You have time, we give you the opportunity to voice out, and of course we are looking for negative remarks so that we can improve further. Okay, so that's the whole idea of this conference. Oh, by the way, being unique is that during the barbecue dinner we also have this what we call as the golden voices, whereby it's more of like it's more breaking of the ice, yeah, like Ms. Madi said, and at the same time we offer abstract watches for the next conference. So as you are aware, they have to pay for the abstract fees when they submit for the conference. Yeah, so we are offering abstract watches for those who can share their voices during dinner. For the case. Right. Okay. So just a reminder that the name tag that you use, it's important that you use it, especially during the meal time. Yeah. So that it will be awkward if you are stopped by security. Right. So please use the name tag. We had a problem with the printer. We do not have the same problem, but it's the first time that the printer make some type of errors. That's why it's not as good as we would like it to have it. Anyway, the most important thing is to have that identification, right? So again, thank you very much, for all your time to join us, and hope to have an enlightening conference, enlightening presentation. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Prof. Yusuf. Now, let us give a round of applause to AQoL President to deliver the opening speech and subsequently appreciate today's event. Associate Professor Dr. Wanasham, over to you. El Presidente.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. AQoL Conference Chair Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Muhammad Ismail Abbas, AQoL 2020 Co-host Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dr. Insinyur A. Sulistiyowati, Director of Polytechnic International Bali, Indonesia, represented by Ms. Maria Henry Erica, Director of Partnerships and Event, the IB, AQoL board members, the Iron Ladies are here. Thank you so much. International Scientific, and sorry, Dr. Ghazali is also here. The Ton. Among the flowers, international scientific committees, editorial teams, professors, doctors, conference participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum, good morning, and a warm selamat datang to our 7th Asia Pacific International Conference on Quality of Life. So this marks a 43rd international conference to be organized by AQoL. So a big congratulations to all of you. So in the past-phase world we live in, conference serve as platform for collaborations, innovation, networking, and exchange of knowledge that can shape our future. So this time around, the conference focused on quality of life, issues affecting Asians, Africans, Arabians, communities in both countries and non. And we have also some issues from others. And this time around, the conference focused on a few sectors. So we managed to attract an overall of 66 abstracts That's a really big, huge number. Congratulations to all. Right? Yeah. And 62 abstracts were approved, while remaining 4 abstracts were rejected due to non-compliance. And of the abstract approved, we have authors from 17 countries contributed, so majority of the abstract were in collaboration with Malaysian authors, and most together with China with 28, followed by Indonesia 18, United Kingdom, United States of America 3 each, Libya, Philippines, Thailand 2 each, Australia, Egypt, Germany, India, Japan, Nigeria, New Zealand, Oman, and Saudi Arabia 1 each. So the approved abstract will finally transform to 56 approved paper, a return of 90%. So all the papers approved were simply grouped in generally under 16 subcategories through a quite number of could be easily placed under more than one category. So it's more, we are going into more versatile research, hybrid research between one category to another category. So the top categories in order of population involve the following environment. We have communication, social media environment, education, learning environment, 7 papers each. We have commercial, retail, services environment, health, healing environment, and sustainable environment, which is getting very popular, with 6 papers each, and local heritage environment with 5 papers. So over the few days, we have the opportunity to engage with experts, to leaders and fellow participants from the diverse background. So let us grab this opportunity together to get to know each other and to build our networking. So our shared goal is seek solutions, ignite new ideas, and foster connection that will drive progress in our respective field. So this conference is not just an event, it is a catalyst for change, a crucible of innovations, and forum of exchange of transformation ideas. So I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the crews. Thank you so much, crews. Speakers, volunteers, and organizers who have dedicated their time and resources to make this event possible, because running 4 conferences in a year would be really hectic. Alright, so without further ado, let's dive into the rich tapestry of ideas, insight, and experience that awaits us in AQoL 2023 Bali. Forthcoming shall be 12 AQoL 2024 KK Kota Kinabalu from 26 to 28 January. So you can start looking for your That shows that we have to make it early. Alright, so with that, with Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I declare AQoL 2023 Bali open. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wahana. Now, we are delighted to welcome dancers from PIB to perform the Bali welcoming dance. Thank you to the dancers. Now the next dance will be for me. Now, okay. We now call upon all participants for the group photo session together with the dancers. So, inside the hall. Yes. Together with dancers.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are most honored to have with us the chair of the Polytechnic International Bali Senate deliver his keynote speech. Before that, a brief introduction about him. Dr. Dedi Kurniawan Halim was born in Jakarta, completed his Bachelor of Architecture at Tarumanagara University, Jakarta, as the best graduate, received a Master of Management, and earned a Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology from De La Salle University with distinction. In 2022, he also earned his Doctor of Tourism Planning from Udayanaya University. Since 1993, he has been a lecturer at Universitas Tarumanagara and taught architectural psychology courses due to his interest in the study of the built environment and human behavior. As a professional, he joined as the Director of Planning and Design at PT Jimbaran Hijau, a tourism developer in Bali. He's acting as the Chief Sustainability Officer to ensure the sustainability of the Jimbaran Hijau development. He was elected as UNESCO Young Planner 2005 and was awarded the 2005 International Carfax Award. His postdoctoral research entitled Human Perception of Green Psychology in Public Space, a comparative study between French and Indonesian living in cities. So, let us give a round of applause, and please, Dr. Dedi Kurniawan Halim, we would like to welcome you on the stage.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the technical problems. Finally, we are online. Om Swastiastu. In Bali, we call it good morning with the Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Namo Buddhaya, dan salam sejahtera. Dan Honorable Conference Chair Professor Dr. Muhammad Yusuf Abbas, and also our President Associate Professor Dr. Hannes Sam, and all the participants of this conference. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude for the opportunity to be a keynote speaker. Frankly speaking, this is my second time here in this hotel as I presented my paper in AQoL 2017. So it's been 6 years since back then. So the title of my speech is Governing and Shepherding Green Tourism Environment through Collaborative Governance Model in Digital Era. Okay, let me start with this big question. Does tourism harm or heal the environment? Anybody? What do you think? Does tourism harm or heal the environment? Heal. Okay. That's a good answer. Because we are dealing and we have business in with our profession dealing with the environment. Okay. So, according to the OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, this is the mega trends of the tourism. Yeah. According to OECD, which my country desperately wishes to be a member of, yeah, now is a 38 countries member, if I'm not mistaken, and we are waiting for the approval to be the member of the OECD. Here are the mega trends that will shape the future of tourism. So we can see that of 4 trends, I'd like to focus on 2 trends that are related to the future tourism market, which are environment and digitalization. Okay. So tourism market, how they see it over environment. There is a study taken from the Busick, Harris and Anley. It is about the comparison between the millennial of 2 countries, Australia and Indonesia. And the left side is Australia, and on the right side is Indonesia. So they are the market. They are millennials, the market of tourism today. Yeah, they are millennials born in 1981 up to 1998, or about 27 or 42 years old by now. And Gen Z, of course, who born on 1996 onward. Here are the values of the millennials. You can see, yeah, both of them. At least Australians on the left and Indonesian on the right, yeah, have the same common values now. The study compares personal value to social value for both societies, but the results are about the same. Only one significant difference in personal negative value, where the Australians seems more interested in third or external work, third world issue or external issues, yeah, and be more careful, more care, while Indonesian are another way around. Okay, so Indonesian is more interested in local issues. Okay. Now, how about the millennials and the Gen Z, yeah, as the market? I took this graph from Professor Wayan's presentation on Saturday, also the keynote speaker. Yeah, which data was taken from longitudinal research conducted at Michigan University. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 4,000 something, yeah, of the students. Yeah, and the Gen Z is even more environmentally cautious, yeah, than the millennials. They are more sensitive to the environment, ethical, and shaping the market, including the tourism. Okay. So, can that research explain this phenomenon? I don't know in Malaysia, but it happens here in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta and surrounding Greater Jakarta. Yeah, the mall now is empty. Yeah, so why do you think is that happen? Is it because of online shopping? I don't think so. This is my hypothesis. Yeah. These news are reported before January 2019 and after COVID, January 2023. Millennials and Gen Z believe that shopping malls are feeding climate change. That's the basic reason, I think. Yeah, so that is why they prefer online shopping. Okay? They are, for them, these shopping malls are the agents or the outlets of extraction industries, producing big amounts of food waste, huge energy consumption, glasshouse gas, etc. and etc. And for the Indonesian context especially, they believe that these malls is promoting fossil fuels for transport to go there, expanding the carbon footprint. Yeah. So there are a growing research, yeah, explaining about the value and the reason why now they are away from the malls. Okay? So this is another issue, yeah, about tourism as environment rappers. Have you ever heard about this? Mandalika? Have you ever heard about this? No. Wow. It's quite hot topics here. Yeah, it's just the next door of Bali on the Lombok Islands. And it's already become a hot issue also in the UN. Now they are talking of Mandalika being something that must be discussed, yeah, in an international level, yeah. So it is because this tourism project causing so many problems, and even there is debt that must be paid, yeah. How about this? Rempang. It is very close to Malaysia. Have you also ever heard about this? This is national issue now, yeah. It's next to the Batam Island, yeah, and next to the Singapore, actually, Rempang, yeah. So the issue in Rempang is a tourism gentrification. Gentrification remains a phenomenon in which capitalist expansion in a previously underdeveloped region result in the influx and optimum takeover of middle-class groups, displacing the locals, indigenous, working-class people in the process. This happens when investors or developers recognize a chance to profit by investing in a neighborhood of area that is thought to be marginalized and underutilized. This capital expenditure makes the region more appealing to the middle-class inhabitants who settle there and start to hegemonize the local identity. So I took this definition. Yeah, this is a very common definition. Yeah, usually used by the planners or urban planners in explaining about how to replace, yeah, the people. Yeah. Okay. This is another example, and I believe, yeah, you know about this, yeah. Okay, Forest City, Johor. Please note that I put a question mark, okay, on the title, as I need confirmation from all of you. This is what I see, yeah, from the media. The establishment of globalized gentrified is also happened there. And setting has been mainly caused by capitalism, and real estate industries are mainly responsible for the worldwide narratives that link gentrification to globalization. Gentrification here reveals the globalist style imperative of investment, underscoring the abstract and dictatorial economic and also cultural economic, I think, yeah, dominant role in the creation of urban space. Moreover, in this issue, gentrification is facilitated by the neoliberalism and is mostly a result of global neoliberal class and political alignment. Corporate developers appear to have relaxed the restriction on gentrification in terms of potentially gentrified communities and housing through the use and production of the hegemonized global aesthetic and discourse. This is what I can see. I don't know, yeah, about you. Yeah, you are very familiar with the Forest City, Johor, where it is now abandoned, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or starting again? Abandoned. Okay. Well, don't worry. You are not alone. Yeah, we have Ikai, the next falling forest city in Indonesia, now with 3 question marks. So I'm not accused, okay? I'm just asking, okay? So you are the environmentalist, you are the scholar in environment field, yeah? Maybe you can share your opinion, yeah? I open discussion after this, something wrong? What's happened? Okay. Please also note, yeah, I'm just asking. connection is unstable. Yeah, okay. 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 So among four news there, let us focus on the Equal Times news. What is it saying? New capital cities, deforestation, and social apartheid. The parallels between Brazil and Indonesia. What is it saying? So actually both countries have much in common, such as having some of the world's largest remaining tropical forests. Yeah, even the distance is about 118 kilometers one another. Yeah, and both are share one particular similarity. Yeah, at the same point, during the post-colonial era, its rulers came up with the idea of building a new capital city, while rulers in Brazil put the idea into practice some 60 years ago by building the current capital, Brasilia. Do you know the capital city of Brazil is Brasilia? Not Rio de Janeiro. Some people think the capital city of Brazil is Rio de Janeiro, right? So, do you think this capital city, the new capital city, is successful to be a new one? Let us answer the question by ourselves, yeah? So, what parallels can be drawn between both projects? And most importantly, what lesson can be learned from social struggles in Indonesia as well as in Brazil? Is Brazil successful? However, now we can see the IKN, this is our new capital city, Ibu Kota Negara, Ibu Kota Nusantara, sorry. Yeah. This 256,000 hectares likely needed to construct the new capital city, which is 6 times the size of the current capital of Jakarta. Include forest areas that will need to be destroyed. Besides, the renewable electricity supply will come from the yet to be built largest hydroelectric power plant fed by 5 dams. Yeah. According to Indonesian activist NGO Jatam, this is mining watch, mining watchers in East Kalimantan. There are 6 villages that will become victims of this Kayan River hydropower project. Long Leju, Long Pesu, Long Bia, Long Palban villages on the banks of the Kayan River. Kayan River is the biggest river in Kalimantan. As well as archaeological sites in Long Palban village, Muara Panjang and Long Lian. There will be 2 villages that will be relocated or affected, Long Palban and Long Leju. And there are also important sites for the Bulungan indigenous community, just like in Mandalika, indigenous community was affected, yeah. And sacred tombs of Salum in Muara Panjang, Long Leju, Long Palban, and Long Lian, which get the same threat. There is also a historical heritage of Bulungan, name is Lahai Bara, a tomb or sacred site in Long Palban village, also being threatened. So when Kubitschek, the government started to build Brasilia, yeah, it strongly pushed the argument that the new capital city represented a land of dreams and opportunities. But now, with poor and expensive transport facilities to reach to their workplace, they face all sorts of problems to attend their basic needs, including affordable food, access to water, energy, sanitation, and access to health services. Although still in its initial phase, the building of Indonesia's new capital city in Kalimantan seems to be on a similar course, I think. So Brasilia is also in the middle of the forest, if you don't know, yeah. But you can locate it in the Google, yeah. So it's very far from the Rio de Janeiro. So I don't know how to answer this. I put 3 question mark here. So let's discuss about this after this. Okay. So what is the solution then? Yeah. I propose this one. Yeah, the name is collaborative governance. This is the new theory. Yeah, the terminology was first announced by Ansel and Goss, new public administration scientists in the field of public policy. I'm studying public policy by now. There are several variants of the collaborative governance model. Yeah, depending on the sub area, such as network governance, yeah, or also known as ANT theory, actor network theory. And there is also participatory governance. There is co-creation, open governance, and policy ecology. The last one is now very popular since the environment is the issue of today's era and all policies must accommodate environmental ethics. So I propose this collaborative governance to be a solution. Now, maybe as you notice in the title of my presentation, I will featuring Dewiku. Yeah. Here is our attempt to implement digital collaborative governance. Yeah. It is a digital platform actually, as well as an integrative system for governing and shepherding green tourism villages in Bali. And we include 5 stakeholders to govern it. Yeah. The first stakeholders is the regional government or Bali Tourism Office in this sense. Yeah. As a regulator that can monitor DWH. DWH is Desa Wisata Hijau or Green Tourism Villages. Okay, so there are 5 stakeholders, yeah, in the Dewiku. We developed this to monitor the DWH and also to market them as well. So the first stakeholders is the regional government, or in this sense is Bali Tourism Office. The second stakeholders is academics, just like me, PIB and the other universities partners. The third stakeholders is a private company. The fourth is the community, and the last but not least is tourists themselves there. So we have already launched this application, yeah, in August 9th by getting a research grant from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. Yeah, as we can see in the headline, it is said 30 tourism village. So why 30? Okay. So actually, the sample that will be carried out, 10% of the 238 tourism villages registered in Bali Tourism Office, or in this sense, it's about 24. So that's 30 tourism villages across the island targeted by employing the online assessment that has been developed and validated with the standard values of 5 variables obtained in the previous research. Yeah. The research was already published on March 2023 and can be found in many online stores, including Google Play Bookstore. But on this occasion, I just share the tryout sample that was cut off by September 18th since the first announcement of Dewiku, August 9th. But it's now still ongoing until the minimum sampling of 384 is fulfilled. So by September 18, 100 to 26 respondents participated in, and according to Slovene, is already sufficient enough, yeah, because it requires only 100 respondents for the tryout. Okay, so here is the background of why Dewiku is needed. Okay, yeah, and the problem and urgency, as you can see, yeah, there are at least 3 problems and urgency. And this is the mechanism of our Dewiku. Yeah. So the mechanism consists of 3 stages as shown. Yeah. Online assessment, registration process, and also a commercial process. This is our sample pools. Yeah. As the map shows, 30 villages across Bali are participated and considered representative, as those villages are distributed in all the 9 regencies or city of Bali. Yeah. So there are also 6 stakeholders and 5 variables that I mentioned before. Yeah. To measure the green tourism village. Yeah. And this is the picture when we done the UAT or user acceptance test. Yeah. So the Wiku team has been socializing the apps and the system to all 9 regencies and giving technical assistance to the village people on how to fill out the online assessment and how to register as the partners to be marketed. So this is the baseline for the standards. So all the result of the assessment filled up by the tourism village must be compared to the baseline or the standard resulted from the preliminary research of my dissertation at that time in 2021, based on 400 valid samples in tourism villages representing all 9 regencies. So this is the result. As you can see, 28 tourism villages passes the assessment and declared green, with the Kalpataru 5 meaning greenness, Kalpataru 4 greener, and Kalpataru 3 just green. Okay. And this is the result of the homestays and attraction. Yeah. Homestay on the left and attraction on the right. Some homestay have not passed the assessment colored in red font, and some is just green. So this is the screen display of the Dewiku. Yeah. So you can browse by yourself. You just type dewiku.co.id and you can browse it. Yeah. It looked like a Airbnb. Yeah. But dedicated especially for homestays and the green attraction in the green tourism village. Okay, and we are also developing these apps in Android and also in iOS. Yeah, one of my team is there over there in the back. Yeah, candidate Dr. Dinar Farmasti. Yeah. She is also studying tourism planning, just like me, and her background is also architecture. Yeah, and her master is also architecture. Okay, that's it, I think. Yeah, this is our team developing the Dewiku application. That's it, I think, my presentation. I hope it will trigger it will provoke your intellectuals on how we manage and govern the environment. Thank you. Okay. Any question, maybe?
I'll just start off since you triggered the debate. I did mention it's actually you triggered the debate. It's what harming or healing? Yeah? Is it? Was it right? Or was it? Harming or healing? Was it? Tourism. You did mention. Yeah. Harming or healing. I did commented that it's actually both sides of the coin actually. You need tourism to survive, basically. Relating to Bali, I was speaking to the van driver yesterday on the way here, and I asked him what did he do during COVID, because the van driver is actually part and parcel of the whole network and for tourism. Yeah? And it's just an example. He said he went to the village to start doing plantings because tourism was dead. Tourism was dead during COVID. So that's your answer. Actually, you cannot say it's harming because it's both sides of the coin. I think both sides have to manage. Another example is Venice. We've been trying to go to Venice, and it's either one moment is on, the other moment is off. It's on and off and off since 2000, and now it's already 2023, and still they are not sure whether they can co-host our Venice conference there. And as has been reported in news, they are, discouraging tourists to come to Venice to that extent. This is where it is harmful, right? But then again, if no good tourists go there, it would be a dead town anyway. So that's my response.
Okay.
By the way, I think you need half a day for this debate, not to this Q&A.
Any other comments? They use the term over tourism in Venice. Yeah. But I agree with you. When we go back to the COVID era, all the workers here are going back to the village. Yeah. And they did what we call it, the agriculture, and also that is why I also want to market the agri-tourism. Yeah. So the difference between the Dewiku and the Airbnb, we can bundle the program offered to the tourists with the attraction, and this includes 4 kind of packages of tourism. We call it ecotourism, agro-tourism, cultural tourism, and also the adventure tourism. So whenever you order the homestay through the Dewiku, you can also buy this kind of tourism, this kind of package of the tourism, including how to learn to be a farmer there in the tourism village. Okay. So any other comment or opinion over the environment? Does it heal or harm? Okay. Maria?
Professor, thank you. You just mentioned those types of different tourism, and how do you consider it heritage tourism among all of them?
Heritage includes to the cultural tourism. Okay, so in the tourism village, there are so many temples, there are so many, what we call it, the prehistoric sites, and these can be categorized, can be grouped in the cultural tourism. So in Dewiku, you can choose them. We want to go to this temple or that temple, and all the heritage grouped in the cultural activities. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Doctor. Thank you very much for your very great sharing. Just asking, Doctor, since we are here in Bali, right? And you are doing some apps for the tourism, is it? And then these apps also cater the halal product, for example, halal foods, for example, because in my experience with my friend also, we are having a difficulty to find a halal restaurant, for example, right? So just asking if you cater that in your apps. Thanks.
Okay, I will consider it. Yeah. Maybe because this word halal seems quite defensive for the Balinese people. Maybe it is more proper to use the term of Muslim food instead of halal food. Because here in Bali, they eat pork. And cows are forbidden for them. Okay. So they have a different values, yeah. So they don't eat beef, yeah. some of Hindus don't eat beef. Okay, so maybe in Bali, the term of Muslim foods, yeah, can be easily found instead of halal food. Okay, because for them pork is halal. For them, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I will consider. I will consider. Yeah. Don't worry. Any other? It's 5 minutes already. So I can step down.
Yeah, we have to rush up. We'll be dragging on to the breakouts.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Halim, for your interesting and provoking presentation. Okay, dear guests and participants, now we have our coffee break, and please be sure to finish your coffee or teas by 10:15 so that we can start our first breakout session. Thank you.
Also, please be advised, during the breakout sessions, please be advised to silence your phones, and wherever you want to have a conversation with someone next to you, please do it slowly and low volume, because we don't want to interrupt the recording for the presentation. Thank you. Okay.
Good morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My schedule is at 13:15. But I think thank you to the organizer to have rescheduled my presentation. So I'm from the Faculty of Law, and my name is Nur Azlina Abdul Aziz. I'll be presenting on the Beyond the Monarch, Rulers and Policy Environment in Malaysia and the United Kingdom. Right. And these are the other co-author, or I would say the co-researcher to my grant. This grant is funded by FRGS. So I have my other authors here, my researcher, Madam Mazlina Muhammad Mansur from Faculty of Law, my Dean, Associate Professor Dr. Hatimi Sarpan, and also a friend of mine, Dr. Rosari Stawati from UNAIR, Universitas Airlangga, Indonesia, Surabaya. Right, some background and objective of the study. Our main concern in carrying out this study is basically to identify. I believe that this morning we have listened to tourism and how COVID have impacted tourism. But for certain reason, Malaysia, we have been impacted during COVID-19 by changes of government. And these changes of government 3 times, from 2018 to 2022, has in the way highlight the role and functions of our monarch. And due to colonization, the history of colonization, so what happened is that the interpretations of the power of our royals are basically mapped towards a Westminster model. Westminster is a model that derived from United Kingdom. So we were once colonized by British. So thus, the interpretations of the power accorded to our royals, our ruler, is basically mapped to the Westminster interpretations. But our contentions by having these proposals is that the interpretation should be diverted. So now it's timely, after 66 years of independence, that we should have our own Malaysian common law to interpret the powers of our ruler. And this is basically reflected towards the happenings that we have from the changes of government 3 times from 2018 to 2022, right? So this study basically looks into the role of the monarch in both countries, Malaysia and also the United Kingdom, and to find the point whereby we have differences in the interpretations. Thus, at the end of it, the findings of the study would justify and becomes the foundation to the building up of the Malaysian common law guideline in the interpretations of the powers of our ruler. Right, this is a brief summary. It's not changing. It's okay. It's not changing, but it's okay. I think I can just. Alright. So while doing that, because I have 10 minutes. Alright, a brief summary of the Malaysian monarch is that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm on the second slide. This is the third slide. But it does not correspond. No? On this slide. Okay, yeah, thank you. Alright, a brief summary of the Malaysian and UK monarch. Number one is that there are a few incidences, like I've explained, the stepping down of Tun Mahathir, the 7th Prime Minister. And we have the changes of government due to Hung government during the 8th Prime Minister, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, and also the appointment of the now current Prime Minister through unity government. So that basically states a new landmark to the power of the ruler in Malaysia. So the ruler do play a very crucial role in determining and to in a way ensure the stability of the economy. Though I know that there are some groups in the society that disagree with this statement, but I would say our government basically have the majority of the power. Nevertheless, when it comes to balancing the rights of the people and also the stability of the government and economic, this is where the ruler shall play the role, and this role is specified in our constitutions. Right, through our studies, we have conducted FGD, and this FGD we have invited Suhakam, representative from Suhakam Judiciary, the Attorney General Chamber representative. We have some practicing lawyers, we have academicians, we have constitutional experts. We have also conducted interviews with the historians. So out of these findings, what we discover is that our mapping should not be mapped to Westminster solely. The reasons is that, number one, we have different sets of constitutions. Malaysia has written constitutions, but United Kingdom have unwritten constitutions. So for that, the scope and limitations of power of our ruler is basically guided by our constitution because it's a written constitution. Nevertheless, for the UK monarch, their powers is basically determined by the parliament because they practices parliamentary supremacy. So these differences, the first differences, should be the justification for us not to follow solely on the Westminster interpretations, or it will not agile good with the positions in Malaysia. Number two is that because we have our written constitutions, thus what we adopt is supremacy of the constitution. So constitution shall be the most highest laws that shall be referred to. But due to some historical element, our ruler, I would like to go back to the history. During the Malacca Sultanate, during the colonizations, and now after independence, 66 years, the ruler institution is still there. There's never been non-effective or non-functioning. It has limited function during colonizations, but it still functions. So for that, in interpretations, the judges usually adopt some what we call and term as inherent power or residual powers, meaning that overall, the Malaysian ruler do have three sets of power. Two specifically stipulated in our constitutions, which is the discretionary power and non-discretionary power. And other than that, it depends on the interpretations of the judges, which is the residual power or the inherent powers, something that is mapped to the Malayan Union 1946, and also the Federal Malaysia Agreement 1948, and the existence of power that they used to have during the Malacca Sultanate. But for the UK ruler, after Magna Carta, the constitution that has limited very much the power of the ruler in 2015, and then they have the revolutions. So these revolutions basically has limited the power of the UK monarch to only ceremonial and symbolic. We can refer to some of the examples. For example, the losing a vote of majority of the Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his successors, Rishi Sunak now. So the ruler has a very limited intervention in determining who shall be the qualified person to be the Prime Minister, which is Mr. Rishi Sunak. But as to our Prime Minister, not only at federal level, but at state level, we can see the positions and the role of the ruler. They can basically intervene and at the end of it decide. By doing this, some might pose questions whether they have go against constitution, but basically the interpretations of the judges does not say so. So they do have some sets of power which is not specifically stated in the constitution and can be utilized in cases of emergencies. Number one is in cases whereby we need to find stability in an urgent time. Right, this is the research methodology I've explained to you. Findings is that it's timely for us to have our own common law of Malaysia in interpretations of constitution. Let me just take one example on the declarations of emergencies that we have in January 2021 in Malaysia. Right, the declarations of emergency was made by advice of the cabinet. But earlier than that, during COVID-19 in September 2020, there were suggestions coming from the Prime Minister to declare emergencies. But the rulers, His Majesty, has refused to declare emergencies. And he made this decision by referring to the Conference of Ruler. So Conference of Ruler, for those who are not aware or not familiar with our structure of constitution, we have our Conference of Ruler to advise and to consult the Majesties, Yang di-Pertuan Agong or the King. Right, and these particular features is different from United Kingdom. So United Kingdom does not have Conference of Ruler. But as for Malaysia, we have another sets of check and balance institutions or agencies, which is termed as Conference of Ruler. And Conference of Ruler do have their main role, functions, and powers in the Constitution, and they should be referred to in taking up the policy making activities. Right. So these are some of the historical part that I've explained to you during colonizations, post-independence, and these are the things that I've mentioned also to you. UK monarchy, it's not responding again, but it's okay. So these are the findings, the early preliminary findings. So due to these differences, what we propose is that the interpretations of constitution, but we'll be going through some of the items. That means for appointment of the prime ministers, for example, do we have to comply with the practice that there is in United Kingdom, or it's timely for us to have our own guidelines for the monarch? But bear in mind, Malaysia, we follow after precedent of cases. So because of this precedent of cases, it depends on decisions of court. So when the court differs or overrule the earlier decisions, so we are, the judges is bound to follow the precedent, the newly set precedent. So for that, there would always be unclear or unspecified guideline for our ruler to decide in exercising their power. The declarations of emergencies.
30 seconds to conclude.
30 seconds. I think I'll be at my conclusion slide now. I think I've said enough on the conclusion. So basically, we are in the process of providing and having our own guideline to guide our ruler in exercising their powers. And of course, to divert. As for now, for information of all, we still have our Civil Law Act 1956 that binds us to follow English law. Where necessaries, where there are loopholes in our law, we still need to follow the English law after 66 years of independence. Right, with that, I rest my case. Thank you.
All right, so we proceed with the second presenter. Thank you so much. Can we call upon Dr. Muhammad Ramadan? So, sorry, Dr. Norazin, are your international collaborators not online, right? No. Okay. All right. So, Dr. Muhammad Ramadan, with the factors that influence feeding practices among parents in Puncak Alam, Selangor, Malaysia. Okay, you have 10 minutes.
Testing. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning, everyone. Thank you to Madam Chairperson, Associate Professor Dr. Rohan Asham, my fellow colleagues, presenters, and all participants on the floor. So I am Muhammad Ramadan Abdul Hamid. I will be the presenter for today's presentation, and my colleagues, Ms. Nohani Majid is on the back, at the back, and Dr. Wan Marina, and I will be present together with Ms. Uliatul Laili. She's from Universitas Nadatul Ulama Surabaya. So she will present online. So my topic today is factors that influence feeding practices among parents in Puncak Alam, Selangor. So how many of you have kids? Most of you. So how actually you treat your kids? Nicely? Or depends on situation? Yeah? All right. So actually my area is on feeding practices, nutrition and dietetics. So I'll be looking into how or why and what are the methods that you use to influence feeding practices for your kids from the parents. Right. So based on literature, there are many reasons and there are many factors that can influence feeding practices. For instance, socio-demographic factors, financial status, right? Educational level of the parents, either mother or parent, or either mother or father, or BMI status or body mass index, whether parents are overweight, obese, or normal. So these factors can influence how the parents teach the kids about feeding practice. And sometimes child, they have their own way on how they choose what to eat, right? So it is the responsibility of the parents to educate the kids on healthy eating. Because if the kids was not teach well, in future, when they grow up, they'll keep, it becomes an unhealthy habitual dietary habit if they did not teach well on healthy eating practices. Now, the objective of this study is to, practices among parents in Puncak Alam, Selangor. So I would like to mention here, this is a small scale study. So there are many factors that can influence feeding practices, such as cultural factors. Maybe the feeding practice in Bali could be different in Malaysia, or somewhere in Africa could be different in Malaysia, but we are not investigating on that factors. We are focusing on social demographic factors, which I will explain later. All right, why do we need to do this study? Because this study is very important if we want to do some kind of intervention. So we have to know the factors or the etiology of the case. All right, so in general, all right, there are many types of feeding practices. As you can see on the slide, I list here about 12 or 11 feeding practices, such as, okay, let me use the pointer here. All right. Oh, it does not appear on the screen. Okay, for instance, environment. Parents make healthy foods available in the home. It means that parents always make, for instance, fruits, vegetables available at their home. Secondly, food as reward. All right. Some parents, they use food as reward. For instance, if your kid excel in the examination, so you buy some food for your kids. You know, go to KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, whatever. All right. Involvement. It means that parents together, for instance, go to the groceries. Okay, we use a standardized questionnaire to evaluate the factors, and as you can see on the screen, these are the localities that we use to conduct the survey. It is based in Puncak Alam in my area, so we divided into several sections: Fasa 1, Fasa 2, Fasa 3, and Alam Suria, and involved 201 parents from these sections. So this is actually a cross-sectional study. All right. And we use self-administered questionnaire, and we distributed the questionnaire using online and offline, whereby we distribute to the participants by hand, and we analyze the data in descriptive mode, which is we analyze based on the frequency, median, percentage, as well as we use association test, for instance, chi-square test. So the questionnaire is actually is a Likert scale questionnaire, which involves 5 scales: never, rarely, sometimes, mostly, and always. So that's about methodology. Now I will pass to my colleagues online to present about the results and discussion and conclusion. So Ms. Uli, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My voice is clear in there?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ramadan. I will present the result of this research. Okay, finding characteristic Asian is the for the father is 76.6%, and the mother is 83.1%. Okay, and the body mass index category of the father and the mother is have in majority in obese. So that we saw that 78.1%, and the for mother is body mass index are okay. Next slide, please. Okay. In the 82.2%. And the household income and majority have a low income, and the same in the middle income have 34.8%. And the category body mass index of the child in majority in both category in the percent is 36.8%. Okay, the next slide. Okay, the finding for the table 4, the association of parental feeding practice and the father and mother weight status. In this table, we saw that the emotion regulation have significantly with body mass index of the mother with a p-value is 0.009. Okay, the next. Okay, the next table so that the involvement and monitoring in have significant relationship with income of household. So that the p-value is 0.002 and 0.017. Okay, the next. Okay. The next table for variable restriction for weight control in this table so that the restriction for weight control has significant with level education of mother and father. So the with p-value is 0.005 and 0.018. Okay, the next. The next table, we saw that the emotion regulation and the monitoring is have a significant relationship with level education of father, but it's different with food as a reward. Food as a reward is have a significant with education level of the mother. Okay, the discussion. The study showed that the significant relationship between mother weight status and using food is regulate child emotion. And this is because some mother will have weight status may have difficult regulation their emotion, which is impact their ability to support their child emotion regulation. Which is why they use food suit their child emotion. As a study found that the child emotion eating result from children learning to use food to regulation negative emotion. Okay, the next. The study showed a correlation between the use father education level. From the research out that father with low education and income may use food as a reward. There is also association with weight control, constriction, and father education, although research in this area is limited. Okay. The research result suggests there is a relationship between using as a food and the level of education of the mother. Mother with lower education level may have limited access to resource and support to managing their child emotion. They may use food as a quick and easy to address their child emotion distress rather than engaging in more time and effective strategies such as active listening or problem solving. Okay, the next.
Okay, 30 seconds
Mother
to conclude.
Okay, I think we can come into conclusion, Miss Uli.
Okay, the conclusion, I'm sorry. In conclusion, parents' demographic factor influence their feeding practice, such as our parents' weight and education level. Children intake depend on entirely on how parents their diet home, suggesting important and adult health practice. Okay, limited and recommendation in this study, it focused on practice area, so the data cannot be generalized, and most participants are Malay. It may not be generalized in other ethnic group. Therefore, it is suggests that the scope of the study expand to include multiple ethnic participants. Okay.
Okay. Thank you to Ms. Uli. With that, we end our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting. We are looking at factors influence feeding practices. That's what we do every day.
Okay.
Any question from the floor? Or online participants? No, okay. Your topic is really capture my attention a lot because it's about parents and children, and this is what we are handling it every single day. So my question would be, from your findings, are you suggesting that an obese parents actually produce an obese children? And why do you specifically choose Shah Alam phase 1, 2, 3? Is there any data showing that this area are having a lot of obesity problem, therefore you just focus on that? And so what is the justification for the selections of only phase in Shah Alam and not throughout?
Okay.
All right,
thank you. Thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Rohana for the very interesting questions. Well, for the first question, does obese parents produce obese children? So what do you guys think? So are your children obese? No? Right. So actually from Dr. Rohana, it depends on the parents' educational level, awareness on the health. Sometimes obese parents can produce a normal BMI children because they know that they are obese and it's not good. So they go to classes and they provide the best good practice for the kids. Not necessarily the kids become overweight. But on the other hand, that worries us as a dietitian the most. When obese parents, they restrict their eating, because they want to control their weight, it influences the children. So your children can get less nutritious food, because of the restricting eating behavior. Right. Go to your second question, why we choose Puncak Alam area, not because of the obesity statistic that more prevalent in Puncak Alam, but because we want to start off with small area, and it just happened that our university is located in Puncak Alam, so we started with small scale study just to look what are the factors around our community, because later on we are going to have such a community program in our area. That's why we do it in Puncak Alam.
Thank you so much for very interesting answers and presentation. All right, let's call upon Miss Norhaini Mad with a topic, or two of you, with the topic parental feeding practice in relation to children weight. Oh, okay. Status among Puncak Alam residents. So you have 10 minutes. Assalamualaikum and good morning all. I hope everyone enjoying Dr. Ramadan talks, because this is a part of more or less the same perspective, but we present it in different. Me and Dr. Ramadan and Dr. Suranto and Dr. Wan Alina also here, four of us also here. So I will be present today and sharing our study on parental feeding practice in relation to their child weight status among Puncak Alam residents. Okay. We continue. Sorry for the technical, yeah. So before I start, just now Dr. Ramadan asked in this hall, all our parents all have kids. I would like to ask, who actually feeding their kids? Mothers or fathers? Mother. So from that picture of the mother in the picture. Yeah, so actually very worried of the obesity numbers
around the world, and actually in Asia itself, in Malaysia itself. So Malaysia have the top list, 30% of obese children, and like Dr. said just now, obese children have 50 chances of becoming obese adult, and we worried about the complication to obese children where they have like orthopedic alteration, skin alteration, and other disease such as hypertension in early age. And if both parents are obese, the child has 2/3 chance of becoming obese. So, okay, so from the literature we have searched, a lot of study doing about obesity itself. So from this they mentioned the factors, what is contribute to the obese children as well, and what are the feeding practice they have been practiced by parents. Okay, so like previously mentioned, are the mothers controlling what the children eat every day? I think mothers are more strictly to the child from fathers. Is it true? Yeah. Kind of, because mother control everything. Okay, so this is the method. This is a course questionnaire study in Puncak Alam Residential, 200 participants, and the instrument is from the feeding practice questionnaire from Asher and Holub 2007. And this is some of the findings on socio-demographic part, where we have 74% mothers respond to the questionnaire, only 26% of fathers. So mothers, of course, everything by mothers. And the age group, majority of them is the middle or youngest adult, 30 to 39 years old. And for gender for their children, so the reflect back for their kid, 50% female and 50% of male children. For the education, most of them have tertiary education. Both father and mother have the higher education itself. And in terms of income of household, they have 30% high income, middle income 35%, same as low income parents for 35%. For children BMI, we have 28% of obese children, 37% of obese children, and normal is 35%. Okay, for the next, I pass to Dr. Suranto.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nurhaini. So I will continue about the results. I'm talking about the part of the parental feeding practices. As you know that we use the questionnaire, it consists of 12 subscales, and we'll show you the second highest subscales in terms of how the parental feeding practice to their children. The first highest is about the restriction for weight controls with the mean 23.79%. We'll show you in here the 4 interesting results, the facts coming from the study. The first one is in terms of the parents' belief, that it is okay not to eat much for the children because it doesn't matter whether eating lots or less. It doesn't matter in terms of the influence the weight. And the second one is it's okay not to do a diet on children, which is those 4 interesting facts. Maybe it can be the baseline data, how their mindset, how the perspective of children in doing the parental practice for their kids. And the third one is about the monitoring children food. It is okay, it don't have to do the monitoring of food for the children, which is quite interesting as well. And only 34% agree that certain foods can lead to the weight gains. Those 4 interesting facts can be the baseline data again, to enhance the knowledge of the parents, because some of the results kind of like a misperception of the children in how they feed their kids. And the second highest result of this subscales is encourage balanced variety, which means score 17.05. In here, almost half of the parents agree that they encourage the consumption of healthy breakfast food, and also they half of them, yeah, about the 52%, encourage their kids to have like more varieties of food, yeah, try to new foods, which is quite interesting as well. But it's only half, which means half of them also do not try to initiate the new foods for the kids, not try to encourage them to eat a variety of foods, which is quite interesting as well. So we did try to have a bifurcated analysis in terms of the whether the employment of the mother has an effect of the how they doing the feeding practice to their kids. In here, there's two statistically relationship associations in terms of the emotional regulation and also restriction for weight controls. In here, the result, the p-value is less than 0.05. We are using man-Whitney test. And for discussion, yeah, all right. In here, there are at least 4 previous studies related with our studies, which is coming from the Burnett 2022, Lopez 2021, Stones 2022, and also Pavlovsky 2021. In here, in highlight that how actually the parents can really influence how the kids in terms of their weight gain and whether they can be normals or based on underweight. And as you know that the kids is really imitating persons, it's imitating individuals. So how the parents eating can be really easy for the kids to imitate how their parents. So it's really important for the parents to have a good healthy lifestyle in terms of how they feed, so the kids can imitate how their parents as well. So in terms of emotional eating, also important is in here because one of these result of this study also have a very good strong relationship. So in here, the parents have like huge important roles in how to manage the emotional eating of the children. And last one in terms of the incomes. In here, the study we did. We can see that the majority, not the majority, yeah, almost the same, the proportion, but the highest proportion, higher proportion of the persons in low incomes parents, and it's really influenced how they feed their children in terms of the financial support to support a variety and good and healthy foods for them. And conclusion and recommendations, in here we can conclude that in this study, the prevalence of the kids, slightly higher prevalence of underweight kids, and the most subscales of the questionnaire is the restriction for weight controls, really influence how the weights of the kids. And it's really important that the weight controls is really influenced by the mother's employment status and also the parents' educational levels. And it's really recommended that because of the some of the misunderstanding, misperception of the parents, it's really suggested to have like educations, trainings for the parents, not just like a formal trainings like a workshop or seminars, but also we can use like a web-based or maybe like a social media, like a TikTok, Instagram, etc., to influence how the parents can feeding their kids. I think that's all. Yeah, thank you very much on behalf of my team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Haini Wajid and Dr. Suryanto, for another interesting, kind of similar but
different perspective.
Any question from the floor?
Hi.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof. I think it's not questions, but perhaps suggestions. Nowadays, that we can see parents nurturing Grab and Gojek feeding types of feedings, that means that rather than home cooking. So I can see that the youth now is losing technique of home cooking. Perhaps you can extend your studies to see the implications of this culture that is embedded within the parents, or basically maybe because of the time. So we are now depending on Gojek and Grab. But eventually it diminish all of the technique of home cooking. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, I think it's true. I think here or in Malaysia also, they order Grab food, they order fast food, all the McDonald's, KFC is around. So parents working, because they are working, the limitation of the time they have, they order eat food online and as well. So when they come back, it's actually at night, where they really don't have it take time to do home cooking. Yeah, I think it's a good suggestion. Maybe we can explore more that to that. Yeah, like Dr. Sulanto mentioned, because the youngest they want to like social media education. We can put that as education in social media. Thank you, Doctor.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. No, one more question.
Very short question. Okay, this is related to Children's Week, right? The outcome is on the Children's Week. But maybe you just now you're talking about more on the overweight. You're talking about how about the underweight? Do you take into consideration, or maybe it's different kind of approach to handle underweight, for example, right?
Okay, 30 seconds.
All right, thank you very much. So yes, we can see that in here we also have like the result that not all the parents have like encourage them the kids to have like a variety of foods, and so trying to new foods. That's why we can see in here, even though there is no statistical data or result, yeah, but it really influences how because the mostly slightly higher the kids are underweight. It is probably because of the parents coming from the research do not really encourage them to try new foods and variety of foods. Probably that's the reason. We can have like a more results on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, let's call upon our next presenter. We have Dr. Wan Marina and Miss Aryani. With the title Hemodynamic Challenge Changes in Post-Cardiac Operations, Patient with Early Mobilization. So you have 10 minutes. Okay, Aryani, can you please proceed?
Yes, thank you, Miss Wan Marina. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We will present the result of our research about identification of hemodynamic challenge change in post-cardiac operation patient with mobilization in National Heart Institute. Introduction. Hemodynamic is the study of blood flow and the heart pump circulated blood throughout the body to supply oxygenated blood to the vital organ and tissue of the body. Muscle atrophy and inactivity are associated with decreased functional capacity in a coronary artery bypass surgery in patient. Cardiac rehabilitation increase the recovery process and improves life quality. In a cross-sectional survey of ICU nurses at Hospital Raja Permaisuri Bainun Ipoh, 22.9% of ICU nurses believed they lack appropriate training to mobilize critically sick patients in the ICU. Early mobilization in ICU has a beneficial effect on the functional capacity of the critically ill patient, reduce the risk of deep vein thrombosis, improve muscle strength, and prevent pressure ulcer injury. Early mobilization education is crucial in considering the potential benefit versus the possible adverse event associated with early mobilization. Reduce the perception gap among healthcare providers and patients regarding early mobilization post-cardiac surgery. Problem statement in this study. The first problem statement are length of ICU stay, lack of nursing training, limited study related to early mobilization post-cardiac surgery. And the significance of study, the one is patient recovery, and two, healthcare worker and nurses, and nursing education and evidence-based practice. The objective in this research, the research objective, general objective, this study aimed to identify hemodynamic challenge change in post-cardiac operation patient with early mobilization in National Heart Institute, and the specific objective to compare the hemodynamic challenge change pre, during, and post-early mobilization post-cardiac surgery. And the literature review, the one is a challenge of mobilization is faced by post-cardiac surgery patient, include hemodynamic instability, bleeding, invasive monitoring, chest drains, and other. Early mobilization is a global effort to reduce complication, improve patient experience, and enhance recovery in cardiac surgery. The study finding Priority status was not significant associated with predictive responsiveness to early mobilization. And the methodology, study design with quantitative cross-sectional, and this research was carried out in ICU National Heart Institute, and the population is the research is patient with post-cardiac CABZ, valve surgery, or combination of both. A total of 183 consecutive patients were involved in this study. However, 53 patients were secondarily excluded due to unstable hemodynamic condition, unstable arrhythmia, chest reopening due to pericardial effusion and cardiac tamponade, drowsiness, and inability to perform early mobilization due to analgesia effect with Richmond agitation and sedation scale. Less than mean one. Finally, 130 patients were included in this study. Therefore, the response rate for this study was 71%. In the inclusion criteria, patient post CABZ, PALP, or combination of both surgeries stay in ICU within 24 and 248 hours, hemodynamically stable. Patient was extubation less than 24 hours after post-cardiac surgery, and patient chest drain less than 150 milliliter per hour. And the exclusion criteria, patient post-cardiac surgery stay in ICU more than 48 hours. And then the patient has severely impaired care function or need for preoperative inotropic support or IADV, and patient with chest not closed, and patient with high inotropic support more than 0.1 microkilogram per hour. Ethical consideration, this research received ethical approval from Research Ethical Committee UITM and Research Ethics Committee and HI. The instrument research used in this research consisted of ICIV manufactured by Philips version 2007, and PaO2 was obtained from ABC analysis. And then Ms. Wan Marina, please.
Okay. So we start with the social demographic finding. A total of 130 respondents participate in this study with mean age of 60s. The largest proportions of patients belong to the age of group 60 to 69, comparison 44.6% in the sample. Approximately 3/4 of the patients were male, while the remaining quarter comprised was female patients. The mean BMI of the patient in this study was calculated as 26.03. Almost of the half patients in the study was classified as overweight, followed by nearly half falling within the normal weight range. One of the most prevalent comorbidity factors among patients who had done post-cardiac surgery was hypertension, affecting 82.3% of the participants. Additionally, 3/4 of the patients had hyperlipidemia, and almost half of the patients had diabetes. Among the patients, 34.6% has had approximately 3 types of comorbidity factors, while had 2 types of comorbidity factors. However, it is worth noting that even though some patients had no comorbid factors, the number of such patients in this study were relatively low. Okay. So the PET test shows that the systolic blood pressure (SBP) from the supine position into the sitting position was statistically significant. After the patients returned to the recumbent position, SBP increased to Bessel value and the difference was statistically significant. P-value 0.032. The mean of the SBP decreased during sitting position but increased back after rest in bed. The PET test show the patient diastolic BP during sitting position slightly increased after the patient returned to the bed rest position, which was statistically significant, with p-value is 0.034. The mean of diastolic blood pressure also decreased during sitting position but returned to Bessel value during rest in bed. The mean arterial pressure or MAP in patient transitioning from the supine position to the sitting position show a statistically significant reduction. The mean of MAP during sitting position but return to Bessel value during rest in bed. And the p-test also show a statistically significant mean difference in partial oxygen when patient transition from supine position to bed rest. This indicates that partial oxygen in the supine position is reduced after the patients ambulate and return to the bed rest. The means of PO2 decreased in sitting position and return to bed position, but the PO2 still in normal value. So the mean SpO2 is decreased during sitting position but return to Bessel blood during in the rest in patients during patients rest in bed. So in this discussion,
30 seconds to conclude.
Okay, early mobilization after post-cardiac surgery was assessed in psychological studies with full hemodynamic measure to investigate the cardiac circulatory response after general NS. So the primary concern in early mobilization is to sustain hemodynamic stability until the mobilization process is complete. Continuous decrease in SpO2 is more than 4% during mobilization from the first task to the second task resemble the patient's cardiovascular system unable to achieve the need for oxygen demand during the mobilization process, and increase SpO2 as well. Based on the correlations, based on the finding, hemodynamic changes can identify cardiovascular insufficiency and are associated with the clinical examination to assess perfusion sufficient with hemodynamic therapies. Example like BP, MAP, heart rate, CVP, and SpO2 and PO2 are crucial in assessing cardiovascular function monitoring. So this is my last slide. Okay. So the conclusions, implication of this study for the patient. So the implication of the study for the patients and nursing profession is very critical because the nurses the nurses have taken care of the patients all the time, and they should know and detect all the critical things during patient hospitalized post CABG. So the study limitation, the study setting in research is only NHI, financial time, and also limited publication of journal and article. So our recommendation is suggest larger scale for this study in the cardiac center, conduct intervention and education programs, introducing a new evidence-based practice. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Any question from the floor? No question? Okay. I have a lot of questions, but not today. See you. Okay. Let's go for next presenter, Dr. Aisha Muhammadin and Dr. Amir Mukris. So we will listen to the title, Role of Physiotherapist Knowledge in Enhancing Quality of Life for Idiopathic Scoliosis. Is that the correct way to pronounce it? Patient. Interesting. Okay, you have 10 minutes.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Aisha. I'm from the Department of Basic Sciences, Faculty of Health Sciences, UiTM Puncak Agam, Malaysia. So I'll be talking about the role of physiotherapist knowledge in enhancing quality of life for idiopathic scoliosis patients. Now, the only structure that's keeping our body upright is our spine, right? So if you look at the spine from the back, it should be a straight line. So if there is any deformity to your spine, whereby there's the formation of a C curve and an S curve, it's called a scoliosis, right? So 80% of all scoliosis cases are actually idiopathic, whereby the cause is unknown. Okay, and it usually occurs between ages 10 to 15 years old, where the bone is rapidly growing and maturing. Okay, so the curve can be diagnosed using a scoliometer, and it can be further confirmed using an X-ray image, right? So patients with scoliosis, they usually come in with symptoms such as uneven shoulder, as well as waist, and there's a hump on their back. So together, all these symptoms can actually reduce the quality of life of this patient. Okay, they are usually in pain, and in most severe cases, it can cause compression to the lungs as well as the heart. So usually scoliosis patients are managed by physiotherapists, right? So they are prescribed with exercise as well as bracing. But in, of course, more severe cases, surgery is required. So therefore, the role of physiotherapists plays a very big role. Okay, they need to understand the signs and symptoms of scoliosis so they can treat scoliosis effectively, especially through using conventional treatment, okay, because we want to avoid surgery. However, from the literature search, okay, and previous finding, we see that the healthcare professionals such as physiotherapists, chiropractors, in fact doctors, okay, they have lack of knowledge about scoliosis, okay, especially when it comes to diagnosis and also treatment. And to the best of my knowledge, up to present, okay, there are no studies looking at the role of, the level of scoliosis, the level of knowledge on scoliosis among physiotherapists in Malaysia. Okay, but this is a very big problem because with lack of knowledge, okay, from the physiotherapists, it is possible that more patients may diagnose later, and they would later on need surgery. And in Malaysia, surgery can cost up to 80,000 ringgit Malaysia. And most of these patients would end up asking for donation. So you can see there's a paper article there, newspaper article. Okay. So therefore, this study aimed to look at the level of knowledge of idiopathic scoliosis among practicing physiotherapists registered under the Malaysian Physiotherapists Association in Malaysia, and also to associate between the years of clinical experience with the level of knowledge among the physiotherapists. Now, in Malaysia, okay, 2 to 3% of the population is affected with scoliosis, and this accounts for about 600,000 to 900,000 people. In our previous study, we showed that 5.6% of female school children from 6 different schools were affected with scoliosis. So this is quite a large number. Now, the global findings have shown that the level of knowledge on scoliosis among physiotherapists is very poor. Okay, so this can be shown among the physiotherapists in Turkey, as well as physiotherapists in South Africa, whereby they have lack of knowledge in diagnosing as well as providing treatment modalities. So this is actually quite, it's not good, okay, for scoliosis patients, because eventually these patients are deprived of treatment and would have to undergo surgery. However, a study conducted among physiotherapists in Brazil showed that with longer working experience, right, the level of knowledge actually increases. Okay, so our study recruited 36 physiotherapists registered under the Malaysian Physiotherapy Association, and they were required to answer a questionnaire based on the latest guidelines from the Scoliosis Orthopedic and Rehabilitation Treatment guidelines, okay, and the questionnaire assessed areas on the cause of scoliosis, the diagnosis, the treatment, the use of bracing for scoliosis, right? Now, our findings showed that most of the physiotherapists were females, okay, from the age between 20 to 29 years old, and they were mostly working in the physiotherapy sector with a clinical experience less than 3 years. And if you see here, 95.2% of the physiotherapists have treated scoliosis patients before. But when we score the answers, we found that 63.5% of the physiotherapists had low level of knowledge and only 7.9% had good knowledge on scoliosis, which is very, very low. So it is possible that the subject of scoliosis itself was not really taught in depth in their physiotherapy curriculum. Okay, so that is probably one of the possibilities, because other studies looking at physiotherapy students also showed low levels of knowledge on scoliosis in terms of diagnosing and providing treatment. So our results, our findings were able to identify the two major areas that was lacking in knowledge. The first one was on the diagnosis of idiopathic scoliosis and also the treatment. So these two areas was also consistent with other studies performed in Turkey as well as in South Africa. So overall, globally and even in Malaysia, globally and even in our findings, we show that these two areas are not well understood. But on the other hand, our study showed that the physiotherapists were able to identify when bracing is required. Okay, so bracing is important to provide postural correction, okay, and to realign the spine. And this was also similar to study performed in Turkey. Okay, 60% of their physiotherapists were able to identify when bracing is required. Now, our study showed that there was an association between the years of clinical experience of the physiotherapists and their level of knowledge. So if you can see here that with lower years of clinical experience, okay, less than 3 years, there are higher number of physiotherapists with poor level of knowledge. But as the years of clinical experience increases, okay, between 5 to 20 years, the level of knowledge increases. So this result is consistent with studies performed by physiotherapists in Brazil. The reason why that the years of clinical experience, higher years of clinical experience, provides better understanding on scoliosis is probably because they attend more conferences, they go for more training, they go for more courses, okay, as compared to the younger ones. So as for the conclusion, we can say that the physiotherapists, the registered practicing physiotherapists in Malaysia have inadequate knowledge, okay, particularly in the diagnosis as well as the treatment of idiopathic scoliosis. Now, this can impact the patient's quality of life, right? Because the physiotherapists do not have sufficient knowledge in order to recognize the early signs of idiopathic scoliosis and provide conservative treatment for patients. So conservative treatment includes exercise as well as bracing. Okay, so at the end, we would like to recommend that to investigate approaches to strengthen scoliosis education and training within the physiotherapy curriculum. So probably we have to look back at the physiotherapy curriculum at the undergraduate level itself. Okay, with that, I thank you.
Right, thank you. Is Dr. Amir?
Yes, he's around.
So,
but he's not my international. Yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. That was very interesting talking about scoliosis.
Yes.
Okay. Any question from the floor?
Anyone with scoliosis?
We do not know.
Head?
Okay, one question.
Okay, the finding shows that the experience, I mean talking about number of years,
yes,
to indicate the skill or the knowledge level. But my question is, does they do the task? I mean, or maybe you should hire only the qualified person rather than, of course, if you don't give them the chance, they don't got the experience. I know, but how about in terms of the fees? Is it the same throughout, whether you are experienced or not? And the outcome is whether they can solve the problem.
Okay.
I mean, because of the lack of knowledge. So does it relate or not with the experience and the fees got to be paid, or does it heal the problem or solve the problem that is the patient face? Okay.
It solve the progression of scoliosis, you mean?
Yes, no, the first one is my question is you're talking about related to the experience.
Okay.
I mean, let's say the hospital do hire the inexperienced staff, for example, to handle maybe the same problem, or maybe it's selective. The patient who pay more, I mean, we can give those experienced staff that attend the patient.
I think usually once students, physiotherapists, they graduate, right? They are really well equipped with all this knowledge. So they know how to identify the signs and symptoms of scoliosis and when bracing is required for the scoliosis patient. So of course at early stage, because they are still new, so there is a possibility that there is some lack of due to lack of experience, so they are not well versed. But when a physiotherapist graduates, they are actually well equipped with all this knowledge. But like I said earlier in my discussion, there is a possibility that this topic of scoliosis, which is taught under the musculoskeletal system, is not in depth, because probably they are focusing more on like arthritis, back pain, rather than scoliosis, because scoliosis is not that the prevalence rate is not that high in Malaysia, but it is there and it is actually rising.
Yeah, of course the number of years, the experience, yes. Of course, people getting better, yeah. But then.
And I think usually the junior physiotherapists are always accompanied with the senior physiotherapists. But if you're looking at centers, right? Sometimes centers, there are not many physiotherapists working. So they may recruit younger ones as compared to older ones, because our results still is showing that about half of the physiotherapists are coming from physiotherapy centers. So these are private centers compared to hospitals.
So does the inexperienced therapist work alone, or maybe their partners or something like that?
I do not have that information from the questionnaire, but I think based on for my students and all, usually there are not many elderly ones. There are more younger ones in the center. Probably there are, but very limited. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Amir Mukhris Abdul Latif with the title Adapting Medical Museum. Interesting. Technology, Education and Research.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed jurists, distinguished colleagues, and speakers, today we embark on a captivating journey entitled Adapting Medical Museums. Our quest delves into the transformative power of technology in reshaping the future of medical museums. The authors of this paper are Dr. Aisha Madin from the Faculty of Health Sciences, you just met her just now, Dr. Afif from Medical Faculty UiTM, Dr. Ali Fatma from the University of Zawiya, Libya, and myself, I am Amir from the Faculty of Medicine UiTM. Within the hallowed halls of medical museums, we confront two pivotal questions. First, why have these medical museums faded in relevance within the medical education? And secondly, how can technology breathe new life into these knowledge repositories for teaching and research? Historically, the relevance of medical museums have dimmed in the glare of multimedia education and spatial constraints. Yet, innovative strategies are emerging to rekindle their significance. A comprehensive search strategy was developed to find relevant literature across multiple databases, including PubMed, Web of Science, Scopus, Semantic Scholar, Google Scholar, and the search involved keywords such as medical museums, augmented reality, virtual reality, digital archives, education and research, along with Boolean operators, which was used, and the search period extended from 2018 to 2023. Inclusion criteria encompass articles published in peer-reviewed journals, conference proceedings, or books focused on technology integration in medical museums. The screening process involved initially reviewing titles and abstracts to identify searches within the inclusion criteria. Selected papers were then screened by two independent researchers to minimize bias and enhance reliability. Our first technological pit stop takes us to the realm of audio recordings in anatomical and pathology museums. Can you imagine a visitor donning headphones, immersing themselves in the symphony of medical history? Audio recordings enhance the visitor experience, offering unique advantage of replaying recorded voices at your own pace, as exemplified at Leiden University Medical Center. Meanwhile, the medical museum at Kawasaki Medical School in Japan blends traditional specimens with information technology to foster independent learning. At the same time, Australian medical museums have extended their reach through satellite museums and online collections, boosting public awareness and financial support. Enter 3D printing, a revolutionary tool that brings anatomical ideas to life, customized layer, and when students are studying it, they can take it apart layer by layer and put it back layer by layer. Would you be able to understand such complex subjects so much easier? At a fraction of the price of ready-made products in the market, complex machines and MRI, C-arm in cardiology, PET scan can be scaled down to desktop size, demystifying them for patients and reducing anxiety before any procedure. This cost-effective, ethical, high-quality method finds applications in medical education, surgical training, and patient-centric learning. How many of us here have to undergo medical procedures such as CT, MRI, or PET scans without seeing these machines? Do you not feel terrified? 3D printing allows preemptive viewing of these machines so that one will not be terrified. And you can even enhance never seen before pictures of COVID-19 viruses. Yeah. Next slide. Yeah. As ubiquitous as personal computers, augmented reality transforms imagination into visible reality. Envision a visitor using their smartphone to interact with augmented reality overlays, enriching their comprehension of anatomy. This technology propels engagement and supercharges the learning experience. The National Museum of Singapore, not very far from us, incorporates augmented reality in its exhibits, such as the Heroes and Legends exhibit, where holograms of astronauts share the experiences and stories. Augmented reality technology in museums enhances historical exploration, offering visitors complementary information through virtual guides and animated adventures when they point their smartphones at artifacts. Another example is the Muséum National d'Histoire Naturelle in Paris, which launched an augmented reality experience using the Microsoft HoloLens. And in a project called Revive or To Live Again, allow visitors come face to face with the digital animals now extinct. And so many other examples of use of augmented reality. I'm not going to talk about it. Let's do a little show and tell, yeah? Just, ladies and gentlemen, can you see any yellow balls on the chair in front of me? No, right? Okay, hold on. See, there's nothing on the chair, right?
Magic.
Magic. See? Can you see that?
Yes. But that's virtual, right?
Sorry. Should be like that. Yep. Right? So is it a stretch of the imagination to overlay something on top of the real picture? You know, people have been sorry, I'm not speaking to the microphone. Is it a stretch of the imagination to imagine how students can learn complex structures on top of an existing reality? Yeah. So there are other pictures which I've not had time to go through. Yeah. So coming back to the presentation. Virtual reality takes center stage, offering an immersive journey. Picture yourself donning a headset and venturing into a virtual medical museum, breaking free from physical constraints and seamlessly adapting to challenges like pandemic. We just recently came out from the COVID-19 pandemic, and thank God we are all here. Yeah. But have you ever wondered whether is this the last time? Or is there going to be another one? And WHO has just come up with the possibility of disease X. Oh dear, could we go into another pandemic? How our UITM Medical Museum was shut down for 2 years. Two long years because we couldn't get into social contact, close contact. Yeah? But we need to change, ladies and gentlemen. Virtual reality widens access and amplifies learning experience. Virtual reality and augmented reality together, applications can potentially enhance museum visitor experiences, providing immersive and interactive learning environments. Particularly during pandemic. Okay. The National Museum of Health and Medicine in Maryland, US has shown us how they provide virtual educational resources. Let's cast our gaze towards QR codes and virtual museums. These tools are gateways to easy information dissemination, promoting social inclusion and facilitating learning regardless of time or place. They're cost-effective, adaptable, and foster higher order thinking skills. A traditional games museum in Kuala Selangor, Malaysia, fully uses QR codes in all its exhibits. It saves space, and there is never enough space for all their text. If you go to a museum, you see people bending down to read the lowermost end of the poster. You know, so by the time you finish, you probably get scoliosis. But
okay, so you have 30 seconds to conclude.
Sure. Another slide. Our journey remains incomplete without acknowledging AI's role in museum management. Interactive chatbots and visitor behavior analytics can easily be analyzed by AI. Museum of Tomorrow and Smithsonian Institute in US have used this, and they employ robots like Pepper to engage and inform museum visitors. In summary, our technological revolution within medical museums has been profound. Innovations like audio recordings, 3D printing, AR, VR, QR codes, virtual museums, and AI have enriched the visitor experience, elevated learning, and streamlined information sharing. Further research into academic performance, public engagement, and content quality has exciting prospects. Thank you for allowing me to share our vision and accompanying us on this journey through the evolving landscape of medical museums, where technology and education intertwine to shape a brighter future. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm prepared to answer questions.
Thank you so much. That was really interesting presentation from Dr. Amir. Question from the floor?
Okay. Like for example, that's like a deal or treaty in between countries, for example.
Yeah.
Like instead of explaining to the children, to the students, let them experience with the VR. Do you think it's possible?
It's highly possible. You know the game Pokemon. So people have gone around using augmented reality to hunt for certain things, and they go everywhere, even restricted places. But the point is, it certainly will enhance education and experience, and more importantly, it is not rote learning. It is something that you look forward to, and if the audience are bored, you can always change the environment or whatever you want to show. It is all within the grasp of technology.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amir. I think my son will study 23 hours per day with that technology without having to force. Thank you so much. Right, let's call upon our next presenter, Mr. Zhang, Pingsu, and Mr. Lee. Online. With impact of Wushu education on university students' social adaptability skill.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zhang Xiu. I am glad to be here today. Miss Lee and I are going to present our project. Impact of Wushu education on university students. Social adaptability skills. Introduction. With the repealed development for mother research, however, requirements are put forward for talent. Market demand and talent supply will highlight the supply side structure. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Committee structure problems. Introduction. However, we still need to improve how to shape university students' personality and philosopher. Here, pursue value. Research background. For the development of university students, the university stage crucial and the development of talent stays stable. It is a critical stage for forming philosophy of life, and it is a step forward for good character shaping and socialization. It is crucial stage so for core university students how to grasp the transition period of the university must be addressed. Aim and the significance of the study. Utilizing a questionnaire, survey researchers quantitatively analyze the influence of Wushu education on university students. Adaptability to ESRT and adaptability analyze the effect of Wushu education on university students. adaptability to the community, make university realizes the importance of Wushu education. It also helps the practitioners of Wushu education to university the value of Wushu education more comprehensively and also play role in improving the social adaptability of university students. Okay, next, allow my courser Li Changgang to continue with the MIC report.
Thanks a lot. Very good. Thanks a lot. Very good morning. Thanks a lot for giving me a chance to have a presentation. Let's continue. Next one, please. The definition of the relevant concepts in my study. The first one, Wushu education, refers to a balanced, planned, and purposeful activity process in which students can improve their Wushu techniques, theories, physical health, and mental health by learning content related to Wushu. And the second one, university students' social adaptation, refers to the state that they can integrate with society by participating in practice, understanding culture, and communicating with people when they leave the school gate and enter the institution. Next. Let's move to literature review. There are two aspects about the literature review. That is research on the social adaptability of college students. And the other aspect is about the research on the influencing factors of college students' social adaptability. Let's have a conclusion. According to the above discussion, researchers often choose the scale according to the research content to collect data statistically, leading to the difference in results. Secondly, the above review shows many students studies on physical education and social adaptation. Due to the many aspects involved, many scholars only make general elaboration. Most need to be clarified its function and value, and have no practical application value. Here in my study, it is also found that there are few studies on the impact of Wushu education on college students' social adaptation ability, which is content that needs in-depth exploration. This paper attempts to make a comprehensive comparative analysis of the influence of Wushu education on social adaptation by employing investigation and research on participation in Wushu education to investigate the impact of Wushu education on college students' social transformation. Now, next, please. Let's talk about the methodology of the study. In the data collection, first one, to read the works and papers on the influence of Wushu education on college students' social adaptability, understand the research information and status. And did some professors and experts about the attitude of researching relevant issues and communicating and with the counselors and leaders on the investigation. At the same time, they sought suggestions and opinions to make the subject sound. With the help of improving Wushu education, questionnaires affecting the adaptability of college students were designed. How to have a data analysis? This study mainly uses statistical software Excel and SPS 22.0 for mathematical statistical analysis. Now, independent sample was used to compare social adaptation before and after the experiment. The difference in social adaptive ability paired with the paired tempo t-test to grasp the influence of wushu education on adolescents' social adaptive ability. Next. Let's move to the findings and the discussion. Now, from a table, you can see the difference between social adaptability and gender is slight for college students, with the average score of 20.3 and 90.6. In the score of whether to be an only child, there is not much difference between the two, and the average score of the non-only child and the only child is 20.6 and 19.4. There is not much difference between social adaptation and professional relationships. It can be obtained that the relationship between social adaptation ability and gender, only child and professional, is not significant. Next, please. Next. Now, conclusion. The first point, wushu education allows students to communicate with each other so that students can live in harmony and improve their communication ability. The second point, wushu education can give students a goodwill quality and is prominent in cultivating college students' endurance. And the third point, the spirit of wushu in wushu education has an effect that other programs cannot compete with in improving and cultivating college students' social adaptability. And last but not least, wushu education has a significant effect on improving college students' social adaptability. Next.
All right, 30 seconds to conclude.
Okay, sorry. The last part, recommendations. With the help of education and publicity, college students can realize that wushu education can improve their social adaptability and pay attention to creating an atmosphere of college students' love for traditional national sport to bring out enthusiasm and initiative of college students in wushu education and provide a foundation for their development. And also
All right,
pay
thank
attention
you.
to the
Sorry, I have to
construction
end
of.
this. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Mr. Lee Chuangang,
Sorry.
we shall
Yeah.
open for Q&A.
Thanks a lot.
I have a question for Mr. Lee. So I'm curious about how do you understand university students' social adaptability? Thank you.
Sorry, apa pardon?
How do you understand university students' social adaptability?
Okay, a very good question. It's the important point in our study. How to understand the university students' social adaptability. Different experts have different opinions. Generally speaking, university students' social adaptation refers to the state that they can integrate with the society by participating in practice, understanding culture, and communicating with people when they leave the school gate and the institution. Of course, nowadays, the university students' social adaptability involves the following aspects. For example, adapting to the social life and the school life to step forward from school. And among them, it is necessary to learn cultural knowledge, adapt to the market economy, and adapt to education reform, and regulate their behavior, cultivate social values, promote cooperation ability, and cooperation consciousness, to develop students' adaptability and to get along well with others. Of course, some other scholars believe that university students refer to the various abilities they should possess in university and the various abilities they should have after graduation. And they think that the two can be equated. That is, the skills cultivated in the university are equivalent to ability they should possess after graduation and enter the society. To sum up, the social ability of university students in our study refers to the ability of university students to make the environment harmonious in the campus life environment, including independent living and learning ability, interpersonal communication ability, or practical innovation ability, coping with setback ability, competition and cooperation ability, and so on and so forth. Okay, of course, in the following study, we'll discuss with our group members to have a further study about the topic. Thanks a lot.
So we shall call upon our last presenter, Ms. Christy Tong Hui Chin, with the topic, title of the research, Visible Learning, Lecturer's Perspective on Enhancing the Quality of Teaching Life. Yes, we are all teachers, we need this.
All right. Good afternoon to our esteemed chairperson and a warm greeting to all of you. I'm Christy, and together with my co-speaker, Roy, who is online, would like to present a paper titled Visible Learning, Lecturers' Perspectives on Enhancing the Quality of Teaching Life. So those of you who share the noble role of educators or lecturers in university, have you ever reflected on this question? What aspects of teaching contribute to our students' learning? So let's venture into this topic, and here, the challenges we face today is that there is a gap between what the university is teaching and the demands of the job market. So our graduates basically are ill-prepared and they lack soft skills. So this is a mismatch which makes them not ready in the workforce. So I'm not sure whether you do agree. Alright, so that's the reason when we need to venture into visible learning. We need to bring our attention to visible learning, which covers the 10 mind frames. And it focuses on what works best in promoting quality teaching and learning. So let's understand the background of this study. What aspects of teaching impacts our students' learning? So according to John Hattie, these are the top 3 factors affecting students' learning: the teachers, curriculum, and the teaching methods that we are using. So as lecturers, we need to always understand how our teaching impacts the students' learning. And also, we need to discover strategies to improve our teaching. And in essence,
visible learning is not about what we teach, but how effectively we do it, how effectively we teach our students, just like a compass guiding us towards the quality of teaching. And now, I would like to pass upon to my co-speaker Roy online to present you the next few slides. Over to you, Roy.
Okay, thank you, Christy. We aim to explore the lecture's perspectives on the 10 minor frames of visible learning. These minor frames, conceptualized by John Hardy, are the guiding principles that shape our approach to teaching and learning. By understanding how lecturers perceive these minor frames, we gain better insights into their pedagogical beliefs and practices. Secondly, our study analyzes which of these 10 minor frames of visible learning makes a statistically significant contribution to students' academic achievement in education. The journey toward excellence is guided by these 4 pillars: reflection, interaction, feedback, and evaluation for learning. The minor frames on evaluators and change agents are guided by reflective practice, which highlights the importance of continuous reflection by educators during and after teaching. The minor frames on collaboration, engaging in dialogues, and building relationships are emphasized in the student-lecture interaction aspect. Collaboration and active learning are not just buzzwords. They are important components that empower students in learning. The minor frames on feedback highlighted the importance of two-way direction, where lecturers provide feedback to students and, equally importantly, gather feedback from students. Lastly, successful learning covers the minor frames on language of learning and clear learning outcomes. To achieve this, lecturers must guide students with clear learning outcomes and have them acquire the language of learning. Our study employed an explanatory sequential mixed methods of both quantitative and the higher learning institution, where we engaged 93 lectures selected through random sampling. We used 2 key instruments: a questionnaire and an interview protocol. The questionnaire was analyzed using descriptive techniques and multiple regression, while the interview data was analyzed using semantic analysis. We achieved 90% return rate on our questionnaires, indicative of the strong engagement of the respondents. This study exhibited strong reliability with a Chromebox value of 0.872 for the questionnaire and an intercoder reliability of 0.84. Ethical considerations play an important role in our study, where we adhere to standard procedures, sought necessary permissions, and safeguarded respondent identities through the use of pseudonyms. Now I'd like to hand over to Christy. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. So here are our findings, which is to explore the lecturer's perspectives on the 10 mind frame. So from the findings, it shows that lecturers rank developing positive relationship as the highest perceived mind frame, which means that lecturers value developing strong connection with the students. So at the same time, our findings also reveal some surprises. So as you can see in red, seeing assessment as feedback and enjoying challenges emerged as the least perceived mind frames. So somehow lecturers rarely see assessment as effective feedback, and they rarely and somehow they hesitated to accept changes or challenges in teaching. So here are the qualitative findings in which lecturers also mentioned that they do foster positive relationship with the students and establish continuous teaching improvement. But at the same time, they do struggle in terms of time constraint, assessment strategies, and even having fixed mindset about teaching. So, which can be reflected in the interview excerpts over here. And our second research objective is to analyze which 10 mind frames impacts students' academic achievement in which they have statistical significant contribution. So in here you can see the R-square value of 0.192 represents that the 10 mind frames of visible learning explained 19.2% of the variance in students' academic achievement, which means that 10 mind frames have impact on student academic achievement. So what is more important are to look into which mind frames which have impacts on their academic achievement, which are these 4 important findings in our study, as they have small effect sizes. So these findings actually reflect that lecturers should see their roles as evaluators, change agents, and also to impart language of learning to students. So what is language of learning? Basically, is not to teach students the knowledge, but to guide them to pick up and to teach them, to guide them how to learn knowledge, basically. And of course, acting on feedback is also crucial for lecturers because we need to know which area to improve in terms of our teaching. So here is the discussion which focuses on the quality of teaching via visible learning. So in here, assessment is important, but in this study, in seeing assessment as feedback, lecturers often miss out examining students' learning. So if lecturers have negative attitude, especially in the teaching or assessment, it will definitely affect students' learning motivation. Sorry, 30 seconds to conclude. Alright, so quality teaching requires mind frame of change agent and to guide students to improve in terms of their learning. So this implies the importance of mind frames of the lecturers and also to emphasize on the effective teaching strategies. So in conclusion, visible learning is not just an educational concept, but is a powerful catalyst for change. Presenting my last quote, visible learning transforms the invisible potential in every student into visible success of tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Christine. So it's about quality of teaching. I'm not sure whether I have quality of teaching. As a teacher, my teaching is good or bad because I always receive complaint from students. And one of the complaints is, when are you going to finish the class early? You always drag, like today. So okay, my very quick question to you is, this is very interesting because when you collect your data among lecturers, right, there are 93 lecturers, do you really separate between new lecturers and experienced lecturers because they have different approach? Like, if you ask me, I would like to now change to VR. So next time I don't have to go to class because they don't like to see my face. They like to see VR better than me in the class. So there will be different approach between newcomers and as the experience grow, it will be different. And the account will be different. So how do you segregate between the data that you collect from the 93 lecturers? Who are they?
Yeah, so the lecturers over here involved in this study, basically they range from 1 year teaching experience to 10 years and over teaching experience. So yes, in my study, I also included studying their significance in terms of, let's say, their qualification or their teaching experience. And indeed, teaching experience does make a difference in terms of their perspective, but it's not included in this particular study today.
Okay, thank you so much. Any further question from the floor? No? All of you are going for lunch? That's all for Breakout 1. Congratulations to all presenters. Yeah. So we can now photo. Okay, we have a group photo session out there.
Okay.
Okay, so I pass to Adik. Yeah.
Thank you, El Presidente. Now, first of all, before lunch, we have a group session. First at the pool, in front of the pool. And the second will be in front of the hotel main entrance. So let us all go to the pool, not for swim, for photo session. Let's go.